and welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read, and we're on location this week. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie, and we're hanging out at the Il Bar in Kimberly, one of the new coffee shops, because we thought it would be fun to do books featuring coffee shops, tea shops, and diners. When you think of fall, you think of pumpkin spice latte, spiced apple cider, so we thought it'd be fun to talk books with coffee shops.
So I'm going to start off with my first choice is Ernest Hemingway, A Movable Feast. This is the classic writer writing in a coffee shop kind of thing. This is an autobiographical account of the Hemingway being poor in living in Paris in the 1920s. The story is very personal. It was written in the last years of his life and then published after he died, so posthumously. It's full of wit. It's looking back on his much younger self, but also with other writers that shared Paris with him, including James Joyce, Wyndham Lewis, Scott and Zelda Fitzgerald. He recalls the time when being poor, happy, and writing in cafes, he discovered his vocation. So, yeah, Movable Feast.
And my first pick goes along with coffee shops. It's A Cup of Friendship, a novel by Deborah Rodriguez, published back in 2011. After hard luck and some bad choices, Sonny has finally found a place to call home. It just happens to be in the middle of a war zone. The 38-year-old American's pride and joy is the Kabul Coffeehouse, where she brings hospitality to the expatriates, misfits, missionaries, and mercenaries who stroll through its doors. She's especially grateful that the busy days allow her to forget Tommy, the love of her life, who left her in pursuit of money and adventure. Working alongside Sonny is the maternal Halayan, if I'm pronouncing that name right, who vividly recalls the days before the Taliban and now must hide a modern romance from her ultra-traditional son, who, unbeknownst to her, is facing his own religious doubts. This book is brimming with the author's remarkable gift for depicting the nuances of life and filled with vibrant characters that readers will truly care about. A Cup of Friendship is the best kind of fiction. It's full of heart, yet it's smart and thought-provoking.
My next one is The Last Chance Cafe by Linda Lale Miller. This is a New York Times bestselling author. Linda Lale Miller captures the passionate heart of America in this powerful contemporary novel set in a small western town. Seeking shelter from the storms of life, a woman who is down on her luck finds an unexpected refuge at The Last Chance Cafe. With acres of land and a house that have been in his family for generations, rancher Chance Qualtrough has deep roots in Primrose Creek. Now at the local diner, he is about to encounter his future. Perhaps it was fate that brought Hallie O'Rourke and her two young daughters to the Last Chance Cafe. More likely, it was the blinding Nevada snowstorm and a broken-down truck that forced the desperate single mother inside. Hallie couldn't know what she would find, not just a hot meal and a few hours' rest, but the start of a new life. And Chance doesn't know that Hallie is fleeing danger so threatening, she dares not ask anyone for help. Even his kind offer in his aunt's house of lodging seems too great a risk for Hallie. But her fierce protection of her children wins out, and she knows she has no choice but to accept Chance's invitation. Slowly, as Chance and Hallie break down barriers of fear and doubt, trust takes hold, hope replaces despair, and the fragile attraction grows into undeniable passion. So, a love story at a cafe.
My second pick for today is On Borrowed Time. This is a library lover's mystery by Jen McKinley, published back in 2014. Love and a good cup of coffee runs in the family for Briar Creek Library Director Lindsay Norris. But when her brother, a consultant for a coffee company, goes missing, her favorite beverage becomes a key clue in the dangerous mystery. Between preparing the library for the holidays and juggling the affections of ex-boyfriend Captain Mike Sullivan and her new crush, actor Robbie Vine, Lindsay has her hands full. But the mysterious disappearance of her world-traveling playboy brother Jack takes precedence over all. Afraid that involving the police could brew trouble for Jack, Lindsay takes matters into her own hands. But as her quest for her brother embroils her in a strange case involving South American business dealings and an enigmatic and exotic woman, it'll take the help of both her library book club, the Crafternooners, and her eager-to-please suitors to keep Jack from ending up in hot water. This book is part of a series, the Library Lovers Mystery Series. That series has 13 books. This is actually book number 5 in this series, but this was the coffee-focused one.
My next one is Miracle on Higher Ground at the Higher Grounds Cafe by Max Lucado. Chelsea Chambers is on her own. After a public split from her NFL superstar husband, Chelsea takes a bold step out of the limelight and behind the counter at the Higher Grounds Cafe, an old-fashioned coffee shop in dire need of reinvention. But when her courage, expert planning, and out-of-this-world cupcakes fail to pay the bills, this newly single mom finds herself desperate for help, or better yet, a miracle. Then a curious stranger lands on Chelsea's doorstep, and with him, an even more curious string of events. Soon customers are flocking to the Higher Grounds Cafe, and not just for cupcakes and cappuccino. They've come for the internet connection to the divine. Now the cafe has become the go-to place for people in search of answers to life's biggest question. When catastrophe brings the X comes calling, Chelsea finds the courage to ask God questions of her own, and heaven answers in a most unexpected way. So people are talking to God at this cafe.
My third pick might be a book familiar to some of you. We did a book launch for this at the Kimberly Public Library. This is Love at On Deck Cafe by Leah Dobrinska, which was just published in 2021. It's Leah's debut novel, and we are excited to say she's one of our Kimberly residents and patrons. So, in Mapleton, love takes a village. Julia Dirks loves the small town of Mapleton where she grew up and launched her business, On Deck Cafe. What Julia doesn't love is change. So when a smooth-talking stranger arrives with plans to develop the site of Mapleton's cherished, shuttered paper mill, she doesn't even try to hide her contempt. First impressions aren't everything, though. Samson Baker has never put down roots. He charms people wherever his development firm sends him, and he's dealt with his share of pushback from communities unable to recognize the value of growth and change. Mapleton is no different. There's just one problem, and her name is Julia. As Samson and Julia's worlds collide, sparks as bright as Mapleton's 4th of July festival fireworks fly until a damaging secret threatens both their brewing relationship and their livelihoods. With everything they've worked for on the line, can Julia and Samson reconcile their differences, save the cafe, and have a shot at happily ever after? I read this book, thought it was really cute. If you read it, you will discover Leah's love for the village of Kimberly. So check out Love at On Deck Cafe.
And we're talking about it at a cafe in Kimberly.
That's
amazing. My next one is a tourist attraction. This is a first book in a series of Moose Springs, Alaska, so a little bit colder than Kimberly. When Graham Barnett named his diner the Tourist Trap, he meant it as a joke. Now he's stuck slinging reindeer dogs to an endless string of resort visitors who couldn't interest him less. Not even the sweet, enthusiastic tourist in the corner who blushes every time he looks at her. 2 weeks into Alaska isn't just the top item on Zoe Caldwell's bucket list, it's the whole bucket. One look at the mountain town of Moose Springs and she's smitten. But when an act of kindness brings Zoe into Graham's world, she may find there's more to the man than meets the eye, and more to love in Moose Springs than just the Alaskan wilderness. So, I love the story again.
Jill went cold, I'm going warm. My next pick is Sunrise on Cedar Key by Terry DeLong, published in 2011. Set on the enchanting island of Cedar Key, this new novel weaves a warm, welcoming tale of second and even third chances of long-held secrets and newfound loves. For the second time in 10 years, Grace Stone is starting over on Cedar Key. She first moved to the serene island to escape a disastrous relationship. Now a visit with her Aunt Maud is interrupted by unwelcome news. Grace's apartment and coffee shop have been destroyed by fire. Grace is devastated, yet ever-practical Maud comes up with a plan. While she helps Grace resettle, Maud even has a business venture in mind. Weekend knitting retreats where women can craft, chat, and support one another. But other surprises await, including the return of Grace's estranged sister and a tentative romance with the local bookstore owner. Knitting together her past and future will mean untangling the painful threads Grace left behind, but the result could be a vibrant new life and the courage to live it fully. This book's also part of a series, the Cedar Key series. This one's number 3 in the series, which has a total of 6 books.
Oh. My last one is Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe by Heather Weber. Nestled in the mountain shadows of Alabama lies a little town of Wicklow. It is here that Anna Kate has returned to bury her beloved Granny Z, owner of the Blackbird Cafe. It was supposed to be a quick trip to close the cafe and settle her grandmother's estate, but despite her best intentions to avoid forming ties or even getting to know her father's side of the family, Anna Kate finds herself inexplicably drawn to the quirky southern town her mother ran away from so many years ago, and the mysterious blackbird pie everybody can't stop talking about. As the truth about her past slowly becomes clear, Anna Kate will need to decide if this lone blackbird will finally be able to take her broken wings and fly. And I checked, there is no recipe in this for the blackbird pie. So.
Darn.
Some of them have them, this one does not.
My last pick is also a diner. This is The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat by Edward Kelsey Moore, published back in 2014. Earl's All You Can Eat Diner in Plainview, Indiana is home away from home for Odette, Clarice, and Barbara Jean. Dubbed The Supremes by high school pals in the tumultuous 1960s, they've weathered life's storms for over 4 decades and counseled one another through marriage and kids, happiness, and the blues. Now, however, they're about to face their most challenging year yet. Proud, talented Clarice is struggling to keep up appearances as she deals with her husband's humiliating infidelities. Beautiful Barbara Jean is rocked by the tragic reverberations of a youthful love affair, and fearless Odette, she's about to embark on the most terrifying battle of her life. With wit, style, and sublime talent, this author brings together 3 devoted allies in a warm-hearted novel that celebrates female friendship and second chances. This author lives in Chicago, where he has enjoyed a long career as a cellist. His short fiction, I know, has appeared in several literary magazines, including Indiana Review, African American Review, and Inkwell. His short story, Grandma in the Elusive Fifth Crucifix, was selected as an audience favorite on NPR's Stories on Stage series. So an interesting author, and this book appeared on almost all the lists when I looked up books that took place in coffee shops, diners, and tea shops. I also have another series that I was just going to hold up. It starts with On What Grounds. It goes through a lot. There's a shot in the dark. This is a coffee shop series.
Cozy
it's called,
Mysteries.
You betcha. It's part of a coffeehouse mystery series, and that series has 17, going from On What Grounds, followed by Through the Grinder, and on to the end of book number 17.
And who's the author?
The author for that series is Cleo Coyote. Kind of fun. Those cozy mysteries.
So hopefully you can hear us. It's noisy in this cafe, and there's a lot of food and drink going around. So if you're in town, you should visit the Il Bar, because it looks and smells delicious in here.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much for watching this week. Like, share, comment. We always are happy to hear from you. Till next time. Bye.